This is Jeff Hamrick. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about using the normal distribution calculators we've prepared for you to use for Math 111. These calculators are designed in a computer program called Mathematica. You don't need to know very much about Mathematica to successfully use the calculators, however. To start with, I've double-clicked on the notebook icon for this notebook called normaldistribution.nb. I'm going to click in this cell. Cells are delineated here by this blue graphic on the right-hand side of this computer screen. I'm going to click Shift-Enter in the cell, and I'm going to answer this question about initialization cells by answering yes. Okay? And I'm going to do two things in this calculator right here. I'm first going to change the standard deviation of the normal distribution under consideration from, let's say, 1 to 3. And I'm going to change the mean from something like 0 to 5. Okay, so the first message is that by changing these parameters up here, you can shift the mean of the normal distribution that you're working with, or change the standard deviation of the normal distribution you're working with. Now let's say I want to compute the probability that a random quantity that's normally distributed with mean 5 and standard deviation 3 is, say, greater than 7. I'm going to type in a critical value of 7. The shading here tells me that it's calculating for me the probability that this quantity is less than 7. So I'm going to change the area button here to right to change the calculation to the probability that it's greater than or equal to 7. So that's represented right here with these symbols right here. How do we read these symbols? This means the probability that a normal random variable x is greater than 7 is equal to about 25.249%. What normal random variable x are we dealing with? One that has a mean of 5 and a standard deviation of 3. Okay? So suppose I change this a little bit by changing the mean back to 0. Okay? And I'm going to change the standard deviation back to 1. Okay? And now I want to calculate, let's say, the value along the x-axis such that I accumulate over or have in the left tail a certain amount of probability value. Okay? So we change the goal here from calculate probability to calculate critical value. It's warning us that in this box right here we haven't put a probability value. That's because 7 is not a probability. 7 is not bounded between 0 and 1 inclusively. So if I change this to a probability value like 0.67, this recomputes for me. By the way, when you type in new values here, you can get this screen to update by either clicking anywhere off of this button, like here, or you can just click this and click back here. Okay, if you click on any other button, you'll change the computation. So for example, if I change this to 0.50 and do nothing, it's not going to do anything. I don't recommend, by the way, that you press the enter button. That might create a second copy of the calculator inside this Mathematica notebook. Just click out here, okay, and the computation updates for you. Okay, so once again, you can switch between the left and the right tail. So for example, the probability, the threshold value associated with sweeping out 95% of the probability to the left of that value is 1.64485. In other words, the probability that a normally distributed quantity with mean 0 and standard deviation 1, the probability that it's less than 1.64485 is 95%. Okay?